Hey gang, season's greetings. It's been quite a while since we've last chatted here. I think the last video actually may have been, gosh, like maybe the Amsterdam, like the flower shop candle back in late spring, early summer, and kind of, I skipped over fall. There really wasn't much that interested me that was worth talking about. If you follow facebook.com/TouchTheFireTwice, I threw a few things on there where I mentioned that that pumpkin spice cheesecake was just a repackage from some 2011 scent called Brown Butter Praline that I hated, so I wasn't a fan of that. It was just, you know, repackages and weirdness and things coming back that didn't make sense, or a lot of new stuff that was just so bland and boring that also didn't make sense. So didn't really love much throughout the fall. Kind of the same story right now in the holiday winter releases, but there was one candle here that was particularly intriguing that a lot of sort of old school Slatkin & Co. fans were really excited about, which you see here on the left, which is White Barn Joy Peppermint Marshmallow. And so we were thinking it must be Marshmallow Peppermint coming back because the notes are basically the same and, you know, it has the same name. And it seemed like they were maybe pulling some things out from the 2011 Slatkin & Co. vault, which I think everyone, any, you know, candle hoarder, scent reviewer, folks who love, you know, home fragrance would agree that kind of 2011 was the year of the best blends. Gosh, I could probably do a video on that if I had time. It was where because I've saved so many of them. You had Sleigh Ride and Holly Wreath and Winter Garland and this dark chocolate mint. There was, gosh, there was an eggnog cheer. There was a spiced, there was a winter sangria test scent. There was a spiced gumdrop. There were just so many really great scents. Some of them were conceptual, some of them were bakery, but they were truly, they kind of were not middle of the road, whereas now so much stuff is middle of the road, where it's like a collection has some bakery-ish things, some sort of conceptual things, but they don't really commit to anything because they want to be very middle of the road and sort of, you know, sell to both sides, people who love one or the other, whereas before it was like if you wanted a heavy, wild, rosemary outdoors scent, you were getting Sleigh Ride, and if you wanted something really strong and sweet and minty, you were getting the Marshmallow Peppermint, or super bakery, you were getting Vanilla Shortbread, which is actually, I think, 2010, which is like a lemon shortbread candle, or there was a spiced biscotti in 2011, like really true bakery items and true conceptual items and across the board, and some great pines as well. Winter Garland, you've heard me talk about it before, by far the absolute best candle, my number one of every candle they've ever made, I think, which is saying something because I have too many as it is. But so what I wanted to do here was, and this is a shout out to some of my Instagram pals, we have a chat going, and it's, gosh, it's a bunch of us. Let me pull out my phone so I can tell you their proper Instagram handles. You probably know them either from Facebook or YouTube. Some of them do videos, not all of them. But we were talking about some of these candles with Santizens, which is Tina Divalicious, with Stephanie Marie, Tiny Bubbles Floating, White Barn Candle Fan, Bronze Blogger, Sean of Hearth and Soul, Jennifer from the show 78, and they were sort of, you know, they're all sort of candle fans and reviewers and talk through stuff. And White Barn Candle Fan mentioned that he would like to see a comparison video of this new Joy Peppermint Marshmallow with the old Marshmallow Peppermint, and leave it to me, the, you know, hoarder or collector of these stupid things, that I still have a half-full Marshmallow Peppermint, as well as a dark chocolate mint, which people never really talk about, as well as a mint mocha bark, you know, from a couple of years, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, which is just a repackage of another candle that had been out for years with all these ones. So what I want to do basically is an in-depth sniff and review, something that, you know, I think when I did videos more regularly, that was the thing that I enjoyed most, really getting into the nose of it and comparing. And, you know, again, folks who may have never smelled this one or who have smelled this one and loved it and don't know if they want that one, this will sort of, you know, give you my opinion on what I think. So the only candles really missing here of their like mint or mint chocolate or whatever collections are, I guess, I mean, I don't have a Twisted Peppermint here, although I guess I could grab one because there's enough peppermint in this to compare it, I suppose. But the main one you don't see here is Buttercream Mint, which I never purchased because I didn't like, and you don't see a true straight up mint chocolate, but this mint mocha bark, I believe, is just a repackage of mint chocolate. Mint chocolate first appeared, I want to say 2010, maybe, definitely 2011, maybe, I think 2010, thinking back to the packaging. And it was, people didn't love it, I think, for the most part. It was kind of weak on the chocolate. If anything, it smelled like and was colored like an Andes Mint. You know, if you've had Andes Mints or if you've ever gone to the Olive Garden with your Chuck, you get your Andes Mint, which is, again, super sweet, a creamy mint, with a bit of that sort of bittersweet chocolate. Not so much dark chocolate, not milk, but like a bittersweet, like a chocolate chip kind of. And it was nice. I bought one. I rarely burned it, and then it's sort of like, you know, you go through periods where one year you love one type of scent, the next year you like another. So there were definitely years where I burned through mint chocolate and I enjoyed it, and I think it came back in a semi-annual sale one year, like 2 years ago or so, and I purchased one then. I may still have it in the collection, but I didn't go digging for it since this mint mocha bark is so close to that. But hold on one second, I'm gonna run and get a Twisted Peppermint so we can get a full sort of sniff of every holiday mints that they've done. Okay, so here's the Twisted Peppermint. This is, I think, 2012 packaging, that blue one. I also have a Snow Day here. This is, oh man, this is another great one. I only brought this because it has a good amount of mint in it, but it's nothing compared to these other ones because it has so much spruce in it. So this is more, maybe in a comparison video of like pines or something like that. But, so let's, I guess, dig into these ones. I'll start with maybe these two. Again, this really, I'm considering this to be mint chocolate. Some folks might say it's the buttercream mint or it's a twist on the mint chocolate, but for me, it really is. They call it mint mocha bark, but the notes were, wrap this delectable medley of creamy, smooth mocha, vanilla, and icy mint in a bow and give it to your nearest and dearest. Now, sniffing this, had a really nice burn. It's got a little bit of funky kind of like, I guess that's some of the oils just kind of drying out on the top there. It doesn't smell too strong right now, but I know that it had decent throw, not anything crazy like you'd expect a mint to have. But this is definitely leans more creamy. There's not a lot of chocolate in there. It's more of a creamy mint with a hint of chocolate, just the tiniest bit, which is nice. But for folks who are looking for mint mocha bark, this is more like, you know, peppermint bark with like white chocolate. It's more of a white chocolate, I think, actually, with a tiny, tiny hint of mocha, not much. Then, of course, we've got, well, buttercream mint was very, very, very close to that. It was like a one-day Black Friday release, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't like it. It was more creamy. It really was more like, I didn't really so much get like a buttercream frosting with mint, which is what I think they said it was. For me, it was more like, you know, again, the mints at the end of a restaurant. If you go to like some restaurants, they have like those little like butter mints that are just little squares. They're dry, they're chalky. Like they're kind of like whipped, and they're a hard candy, but they're soft because they're aerated and they just kind of melt in your mouth. I think they call them butter mints. I don't know that they really have butter in them. They don't taste buttery, but they're sort of creamy, chalky, powdery. And for me, it smelled mostly like that. So again, buttermint, buttercream mint, whatever. It was a creamy mint. Didn't really get any chocolate in that one. I'm not sure if the notes said it had chocolate, but I didn't really get anything. But it was so similar to this, and it was more creamy, and I wanted more mint in the first place in this, so I wasn't into that one at all, but I know that some people really loved it. Then we've got, of course, the classic, been around, gosh, since what, 2007, 8, before that even? Who knows? Twisted Peppermint, kind of ugly label there. I like the picture. I actually kind of really love the blue wax. That's fun, versus just the standard ones they always do. The notes on this, again, they probably change the story every year, but it's always gonna be peppermint with vanilla. They threw sugary musk in here. It's not. It's hardcore, true peppermint, cooled down with a vanilla, but not a vanilla cream, not a vanilla caramel. Just kind of a whipped vanilla. I would almost say like a meringue, which is what you'd think you'd get from a marshmallow peppermint. But just a really sweet, true vanilla essence, basically, with your peppermint. Heavy on the peppermint, a little bit of the mint. Basically like your typical candy cane scent, but so strong, so nice, and it's just like, that's sort of a must-have, I think, for everyone most years, because it's so classic and a true peppermint. Then let's move to one that we don't hear much about post 2011. This only came out 1 year, I think, and that is dark chocolate mint. It came out alongside, you can tell this is the 2011 packaging, alongside marshmallow peppermint, twisted peppermint. There was also chocolate mint that year, so there were a lot of mints, actually. But apparently it wasn't very popular because it was out literally just that 1 year. This was the year, I loved the labels. They weren't as cutesy maybe, but there was cohesion across the board. There was just a little bit of either like a holograph or glitteriness to them, but they were just kind of simple and a little bit more contemporary, or just kind of, I don't know, simple or classy, like, you know, without all the bells and whistles that we get now. I'd rather have a simple label with an amazing scent, right? And so the notes on this one, and I didn't love this at the time, but I've grown to appreciate it. It says, a luscious blend of dark chocolate shavings and pure peppermint layered with rich vanilla cream and just a touch of caramel. Now, Oh boy, and it just burned. Look at that. Flawlessly. Really, really nice. I think I maybe only burned this once or twice last year too. Because again, this is literally 4 years old at this point. And to me, comparing this to chocolate mint versus dark chocolate mint, with this one, it's much heavier on the chocolate. Surprise. And it kind of, to me, smells a little bit like cocoa powder. I guess you could say like hot cocoa mix, like your Swiss Miss packets, but even more so than that, just a pure unsweetened cocoa powder that you use for baking. A big hit of that, and the mint is in the background. It's there, but not as strong. So it's sort of like, yeah, I'd almost call it like a mint mocha, sort of. There's not coffee in here, but because it's such a pure dark chocolate and fairly intense, it almost leans towards like that sort of espresso bean. That's maybe where they say there's the caramel in here, but I really think if they release this now, they could, they could market it as whatever, a mocha latte or something. Throw in a hint of espresso bar and it would be a major hit. I really like that. It's got a hint of sort of like the cheap Tootsie Roll kind of chocolate, but it's hard to make a perfect chocolate in a candle. But I really like that. I'm surprised it's never seen the light of day since then, because it's mint mocha bark, certainly not it. Yeah, so then we move on to sort of the star of the show. This is one, it only came out this one year in 2011, and look at that label. I think, oh gosh, that's just so, for the candy lovers out there, it's just so ooey gooey and luscious and pretty with the little glitters, right? It's funny, I actually don't think I bought this. This was a gift that year. I had it in some of the small, tiny candles just to test it out. But I hadn't purchased it, but I grew to love it. And they say this delicious blend of sweet peppermint, fluffy marshmallow cream, and rich vanilla cupcake is sure to delight one and all this season. Oh boy. Even now, it's so good. And what a great burn. Again, 2011 was plagued with burn issues, but this is like clean and pure burn. The wax barely discolored, just the slightest bit. Okay, so I've sniffed that, and let me read you the notes on Joy Peppermint Marshmallow here. And of course we get the fancy lid and the fancy label and blah, blah, blah. They say, indulge in the fragrance of fluffy vanilla marshmallows which are full of holiday sweetness and peppermint joy. So they leave out, again, it doesn't mean it's not in there, this could be the exact same scent, and they could still leave out the rich vanilla cupcake, the cream side of it, and it wouldn't, their notes don't mean much. But sniffing this one, and it's actually more of a true red versus that kind of pinkish color over there, it's really, it's disappointing. They do not compare. Now, everyone thought that they were the same, and on first sniff, you think, okay, maybe if you haven't smelled it in 4 years, it's close enough, but, okay, the main difference is, for me, first of all, that is so much less scent than this one. It's unbelievable. And this was a brand new candle. I burned it twice. This sucker was burned halfway down and is 4 years old. Instantly, a huge hit of strong peppermint in this, like twisted peppermint levels of peppermint. Like, there's no question there's a lot of mint in here. And it's like almost like a nasal clearing sort of peppermint, which maybe is a little strong for a marshmallow peppermint, but peppermint's in the name, you're gonna get it, right? And then, but the marshmallow in this one is really, the label in this makes sense. It really feels like a whipped, just a pure marshmallow. Creamy. I don't so much get vanilla cupcake, but fluffy marshmallow cream. Like if you had vanilla fluff, you know what that taste and that scent is, just that almost sickeningly sweet without being cloying, but just warm, fluffy, just comforting feeling. And you get that with this. Heavier on the peppermint than I even remembered though. And when we smell this one, there are a lot of differences actually with this. I don't even think it's necessarily a reworking of that. I think they were like, oh, this would be a good idea, let's do it again from scratch. First of all, going on after the first few burns, it's had horrible burn. I burned it for 3 hours and it didn't get a full pool at first, and then I burned it a second time and it finally got a pool on it, but not great. And the thing is with that too, when you have such a low burn and it pulls out for hours and hours without burning the wax away, all you're doing is burning up the oils that's in the wax, like if you're doing a tart or something, and then it's gonna darken the color and it's gonna start smelling that burnt sort of gasoline-y smell because the oil, there's no oils left, you're just burning off the wax because it's not burning. The rate of oil burn off to wax burning away is not matching up, which I think is one of the big problems with their candles now. Honestly, when I sniff this compared to that, it almost smells unscented. It's not, but it's it's like literally 10-15% as strong as that. I actually have to smell it with the lid on to get anything. Now with this, again, there's some mint there, very, very mild mint. The creaminess is almost, and I think Sean might have mentioned this, like, it's more like the vanilla pumpkin marshmallow, vanilla bean sort of vanilla in here. That's more their base for this, which is funny because they say vanilla marshmallows, but they don't say vanilla cupcake, which would actually make more sense. Just like, yeah, it kind of reminds me almost of vanilla bean marshmallow or vanilla pumpkin marshmallow with a drop of like cheap mint, not even like a pure peppermint oil. And the other thing in this that I smelled in the store that I don't get as much now, maybe because I'm sniffing the dark chocolate over here, was there's a definite chocolate note in this, but such a very small amount, like not as much as the dark chocolate here, more like maybe the mint chocolate. It's almost very similar to the mint chocolate or the mint mocha bark. Because in the store, I don't get as much now, but in the store I definitely got a little hint of chocolate. Again, nothing compared to that. I would actually like if it did. So now I'm going to compare these two, since actually I think that this is closer to this than the original marshmallow peppermint, because your mint mocha bark was milder on the mint. Okay, I would say this actually has a stronger mint than marshmallow, peppermint marshmallow, the new one, Joy. And this has more of, this is softer, more of, again, that vanilla bean cream with a tiny hint of mint. So I wouldn't call this peppermint, and I wouldn't even call it marshmallow. I'd call this, yeah, like, I know they call it vanilla bean marshmallow or whatever, or pumpkin, what is it, vanilla pumpkin marshmallow. I don't think that's a marshmallow scent. It's more of a fluffy vanilla cream with a tiny bit of mint. So, long story short, you know, 18 minutes later, really disappointed in that. I was hoping it would be this, because this one is, it is so unique because it's your twisted peppermint, but it throws in that candy marshmallow. Like, this is a scent that you know you're gonna like this, and it's gonna smell up your room, and you're gonna feel enveloped in it. Not overwhelmed, but enveloped in it, and feel the holidays. Whereas this is just like, you might catch a whiff of this, but it's gonna be so similar to everything else basic they've released earlier this year, that it's not gonna be that different. It's not gonna, when you smell that in a year, if you smell that in a year, it's not gonna say, whoosh, take you back a year ago, or to that scent memory that you have of, oh, that candle. Whereas this one, I smell this and it instantly places you, you know, in your mind's eye in that spot. So, and even this, I don't love this. If I had to choose like my favorites here, obviously Twisted Peppermint is top, and then Marshmallow Peppermint is your second. But this Dark Chocolate Mint, it's really nice because it's got that true dark chocolate in it. So, anyhow, yeah, rambling on. The point is, which I think surprises no one, Joy Peppermint Marshmallow is nothing like this other than the name and the fact that they share similar ideas. It's not even a reworking, I don't think, of the original, which is disappointing because it's like, what is wrong with Bath & Body Works or White Barn that they can't just go back into the vaults, find the mix of that and sell it? Like, are they really that scared that it's not going to sell because people wouldn't like this? I mean, it just makes no sense. I don't know if they're trying to go cheaper on the quality of oils they're using, or if they're using less oils, or what the deal is, but clearly their quality control is going down, the prices are going up, and they're really, the major focus for them is marketing, which of course there are thousands of stores, it's a multi-billion dollar company by L Brands, they have to make their money, but they could do it and still hold the integrity behind it, which they don't really seem to have anymore. So that's my read on that. Thanks so much for watching. I may try to get another video in this holiday season. I'm not sure. If not, I definitely will be around on my other channel, The Gentleman Next Door. Check out that at youtube.com/thegentlemannextdoor or facebook.com/thegentlemannextdoor. And of course, you can always check out facebook.com/TouchTheFireTwice, where we can continue the convo there. Sometimes I throw photos up there. And yeah, until next time, guys, hope you have a great holiday season and take care.